the rest of the team to appreciate that if we, if we definitively say, this is going to happen, and then that doesn't happen, we have lost a lot of, I feel like, team credibility. So I think there's a real balance there in trying to acknowledge mom's concerns, but at the same time, not giving her a definitive, certain answer. And then I think the other realistic point, here is that, while I was referring to, Julianne as one of our MCC colleagues who knows Harrison just as well, if not better, I think the challenge is that, we were probably put in a circumstance of, not being the experts. And so, trying to give a little bit of a nuanced answer while appreciating that, urology would be the experts and that they should be the definitive ones to probably answer that question.
Yeah, so this is really helpful, Jeff. One of my follow-up questions that you may just have answered was, you kind of ultimately recommended against the need for urodynamic testing now, but you left it open that might be needed later. So tell me again, how did you come to make that sort of determination? You don't need this now, but maybe later. Can you just recap that for me?
Yeah, I think that was appreciating knowing what Harrison's clinical course has been, say, over the last, couple of months, and knowing that in the past, urology did not have a particular interest in doing urodynamic studies at any immediate point in time, appreciating also that this was something that Bianca was continuing to ask about, but yet urology did not necessarily see the immediate utility. And so I think that was kind of a little bit of the hedging of bets in terms of not having urology particularly there. Because I also feel like, and maybe this draws on a little bit of history, is that, mom has proven many of us, and subspecialists included in this, wrong, so to speak, on potential courses of care. So, yeah.
And was this if I could just want to ask one follow-up, were there more than one option here? Like, would it have been reasonable, let's say, for you to have recommended you could do this now? It may not show anything or whatever. I mean, it helped me think through, was that another option you could have suggested?
I don't feel like it was a reasonable option for us to suggest, given that urology didn't think there'd be any benefit. So just sort of felt that to stay aligned with our consultant group, there wouldn't be an immediate need to do it.
Okay, great, thank you, Jeff. Some might have considered this to be a decision. What do you think?
Sure. And then I could see that now. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to fast forward just a bit in this conversation where mom asks, I'm going to stay on this urodynamic issue because mom asks a follow-up question, and this is again only about 30 seconds. Just play that and then a few.
Okay. I didn't know if this was going to be one of the situations where, like, we do a urodynamic study and then they go, oh, well, we don't know how it used to be, so we don't have anything to compare it to. So we can't really speak to whether it's this or that or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know if it would be something like mom should push to get, like, an initial scan to see where things are at to then see if things deteriorate, or... We might talk about that more later. Okay.
Okay, so she asked a question that kind of moves on herself. So tell me what you were hearing from her here.
Knowing Bianca, I think she probably did not get the exact answer she was looking for. In terms of us just saying, oh yeah, that's a good idea, Bianca, we should do the urodynamic studies now. So she, appropriately so, I think, was trying to use, her own degree that she's gotten as well in terms of taking care of Harrison and her value as a parent to advocate for would there be any utility. So I think clearly she was making that point for us to consider and take back, but also I also feel like was acknowledging that we have some other issues, so we'll just kind of move on.
Okay. And how much in your mind does mom's opinions or preferences about urodynamic testing sort of matter here in this decision?
I would say there's given that she knows Harrison quite well, I think there's value in appreciating what mom has to say, and we definitely probably need to unpack it a little bit more as to how our decision to not do things now, or with another 3+ weeks left in the hospital. How mom is feeling with us not potentially doing those versus doing them before he goes home. So, and I think once again, it's certainly Harrison has not had a straightforward course, and quite honestly is just kind of slowly deteriorating over time. And I think there's probably the perspective from mom and trying to understand once again prognostically how this makes sense in his overall course. So yeah, I think there's
and you saying that we need to unpack sort of mom's opinions and preferences, and not doing that here. Tell me why you and likely Julianne didn't unpack that here. I mean, partly probably because mom moved on herself, but I'm sure there were other reasons in your head about, well, maybe we can do this another time, but tell me.
I think with a limited amount of time and just the number of other different topics and areas to run through, sort of felt like this probably wasn't the appropriate time to consider this. And I think there's also, once again, I think the being able to appreciate past conversations with Bianca that could definitely derail sort of the time that we have with other people for other areas. And I think Bianca also recognizes that too. Yeah.
That's perfect. And so just the last question on this, for this sort of maybe first stage of the decision making where you and Julianne recommended not doing any immediate testing, who would you say in your opinion was the person who made that decision? You, mom, or a combination of you both?
In terms of not doing it right now, I would probably say it was a combination of probably me and Julianne. I'm not, from this last exchange, it's not clear to me that mom is definitively sold on not doing it. So, I feel like this is still out there.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I'm going to move to the last sort of clip that I want to just get your thoughts on, and then we'll be done. This is where you're introducing the idea of closing gaps in training that parents need before discharge. And this is just a little over a minute. So play that and then ask sort of similar questions and we'll be done. Here we go.
Should I just think about is just